So let's start. Stretch out on our back. If you have a cushion or a folded up blanket around you, you're welcome to take that behind your knees just to help them soften and relax your hips. Make sure your feet are nice and wide apart, let your toes fall out to the sides. And then you can rest your arms wide to the sides, palms facing the ceiling. Or let your hands rest onto your abdomen. And let's make sure the back of the neck is long. So just a gentle draw of the chin towards the chest. And you can soften your gaze or close your eyes. And start to invite your attention inward. Just begin to notice whatever sensations you feel occurring in your body. Notice the sensation of the body connecting to the floor. And then start to tune in to the sensation of your breath as it moves in through your nose and out through your nose. Gradually begin to deepen your breathing. Each time you breathe in, invite your breath down into the bottom of your lungs, letting your abdomen lift up towards the sky. And as you exhale, release all of that air from the lungs and let your navel sink back towards your spine. Each inhalation, expand the lower abdomen and the lower back. And as you exhale, let the back of your body sink into the floor. And continuing to deepen the breath. As you inhale, expand the abdomen and then the rib cage, lifting up through the chest. As you exhale, soften your chest, soften your ribs, and soften your abdomen. Whatever you notice your attention drift, very gently return your focus to the sensation of your breath. You can start to tune into the subtle sound of your breath. You're welcome to amplify that sound by gently narrowing the back of your throat as if you were fogging up a mirror. Keep the lips together, continuing to inhale through the nose and exhale through the nose. With your next breath in, I want you to slowly bend your knees. Bring the knees up in towards the chest. And you can rest your hands onto your legs and then take a gentle rock from side to side. Maintaining the depth of your breathing. Let's return our legs to the center and then softly touch the feet down to the floor. Placing your feet hip width apart and parallel. So your heels are lined underneath your knees. Let's rest our arms close to the body. With a breath out, I want you to sink your lower back down into the mat. Let the tailbone lift just slightly away from the floor. And then as you inhale, you're going to reach your tailbone forward and down and let the lower back lift away from the earth. So just little tilts of the pelvis. As you exhale, you can draw your navel towards your spine, sink your lower back down into your mat. And as you inhale, let the tailbone reach forward away from you as the lower back lifts, belly expands. Keep taking that subtle movement with your breath. Gently lengthening through the spine and then rounding a little through the low back. The next time you exhale, sink your lower back into the floor. Let's hold there. Spread out through your fingers and your toes. Keep the back of your neck long and engage your core as you inhale. Start to lift your tailbone and slowly peel one vertebra at a time up off the floor. Think of your shins reaching forward as your hip bones lift up, keeping your big toes pressing down into your mat. Once you've lifted to a height that feels good for your body, I want you to focus on your deep breath, lifting your belly up towards the ceiling as you breathe in. Navel sinking towards your spine as you breathe out. Just engage to the core, inhale, hip bones lift. And then slowly with control, as you exhale, sink one vertebra at a time back down to the mat. Once you've come all the way down, let's draw the knees in towards the chest. You can place one palm on each knee. With your knees and feet together, flex your ankle, and then take an inhale. Contract through your core as you exhale, lift your forehead towards your knees. If your neck has tension, you're welcome to support your head with your hand. Let's relax the shoulders away from the ears as we draw the navel towards the spine. As you exhale, slowly lower your head back to the mat. And then softly touch your feet down to the ground. And then place our feet hip width apart again. I want you to come to a neutral pelvis, so that place where you're not sinking your lower back right flat into the floor, and the place where you're not reaching your tailbone far away and really arching your lower back, but that happy medium. And then from here, we'll flex the right ankle, take the outside edge of the right foot onto the left thigh, allowing that knee to open. Try to stay balanced through your pelvis. So notice if you're rocking more to one side than the other. And reach up evenly through your sits bones. And then feel free to stay here, perhaps with your right hand on your thigh, opening up your knee. Or you can reach your hands to the back of your left thigh as you draw your left knee towards your left armpit. Let's keep the back of the neck long, the chest relaxed. And as you breathe here, you can think of your breath moving down into your hips, using your exhales to soften tension. Try to relax through the upper body as much as you can. As you exhale, let's slowly lower the left foot down to the floor, and then place the right foot onto the floor. Stretch your arms out at shoulder height, palms facing down on the ground. And then pressing through the soles of your feet, engage your abdominal muscles. As you inhale, let's shift the pelvis to the right slightly. Shifting the pelvis towards the right edge of the mat. Draw your knees back in towards your chest, knees and feet together, heels lifting slightly. You can flex at the ankles. And then fill your lungs up. Engage through your core as you exhale, slowly lower your legs to the left. You're welcome to tuck a blanket or cushion underneath the legs to support you, or perhaps your legs lower all the way down to the ground. You want both shoulders to stay on the mat. And you could take your gaze out towards your right fingertips if you like, or rest your left hand onto your right leg. And think of your breath expanding through your low back. As you exhale, let your body sink into the floor. If at any point you'd like to deepen your twist, you can engage through your core and then gently move your knees a little closer towards your left armpit as your heels slide further away from you. Noticing anytime your attention starts to wander, and let your focus come back to the sensations occurring in the body, the subtle sound of your breath. Let's extend our arms wide at shoulder height, palms facing down, take your head to the center. Contract through your core, inhale, bring your legs back to the middle. Okay, let's shift the pelvis back to the center, and then hug the knees into the chest and rock from side to side. Move your legs in the middle. Slowly lower the feet back to the floor, finding that hip width distance between your feet. Take your arms nice and close to your body, palms facing down. As you breathe out, press your lower back down into the earth, engage through your core, use your inhale to slowly peel up through your spine, coming into a bridge. Use your breath, lifting the abdomen up as you breathe in. Belly button sinking down towards the spine as you breathe out. Keeping your knees hip width apart. And take one more big inhale. And then slowly with control, use your exhale to roll your spine back down to the ground. Think of your lower back touching down to the mat before your tailbone. And once you come all the way down, bring your knees in towards you, one palm on each knee. Have your knees and feet together, ankles flexed. Take a deep breath in. Use your core to support you. Exhale, forehead towards the knees. You're welcome to support your head. If you want to deepen this, you can reach your hands around to hold the outside edges of the feet, taking the knees slightly apart, drawing the head in between the knees. Shoulders are relaxed as you curl up into a tiny little cannonball. The core engaged. You can inhale, hands can come onto the knees or behind the head. And we'll exhale, lowering the head to the mat. And let your feet come back down to the floor, placing them hip width apart. Finding that neutral pelvis. And this time we'll flex our left ankle. Outside edge of the left foot comes onto the right thigh as that knee opens up. Keeping your hips balanced evenly here. If you want to deepen this, you can reach your hands to the back of the right thigh and invite the legs in towards you. Making sure that your right knee is drawing towards your right armpit. Lengthen the back of the neck and soften across the chest. And let your breath move into wherever you feel tension in your body. Use your exhale to slowly lower the right foot to the floor and then the left foot to the floor. Stretch your arms out in a T in line with the shoulders, and then carefully shift your hips towards the left edge of your mat. We'll bring the knees back in towards the chest, knees and feet together, ankles flexed. You can lift the heels up a little bit as you breathe in. And then moving slowly with control, core supporting you. Exhale the legs over to the right. Feel free to grab a folded up blanket or a cushion to support your legs or let them come all the way down. Make sure both shoulders stay on the floor. You can let your heels slide away from you a little bit. Take your gaze where your neck is at ease. And then close your eyes or soften your gaze and let your attention draw into your body. Always rest your right hand onto your left leg if that feels good. Or deepen your twist at any time by gently drawing your knees closer towards your armpit, letting your heels slide further away. Move your head to center, arms wide. Contract through your core. Let's inhale the legs back to the middle. And then realign through your spine, shifting the hips to the center. Hug your knees in. Take another rock side to side. Move the knees back in the middle. We'll return our feet down to the floor. And I want you to take your palms underneath your pelvis so your hands are facing down, thumbs touching slightly. And then you can stretch your legs all the way out. Keep your heels close together. Let your toes fall out to the side. And you can think of your elbows walking in towards one another so they tuck underneath you and your chest starts to open up a little bit more. And then I want you to check in with your neck. And if your neck is feeling tense or tender, I would like you to stay here and breathe. If your neck feels good tonight, you can let the pelvis sink heavily into the backs of the hands. Press down through the elbows, engaging the core. Inhale, lift your sternum towards the ceiling and rest lightly on the back or the crown of your head. We'll soften the lower jaw, only staying here as long as it feels safe for your neck and as long as your breath is deep. Each time you inhale, expand the belly, the ribs, and the chest. As you exhale, see if you can soften your legs. Contract through your core. Let's take one more inhale, lifting the sternum up. As you exhale, slowly slide the crown of your head away from you till your chin tucks in a little bit. And then bend your knees, place your feet flat onto the floor. Release your hands from beneath you, take them onto your abdomen, and very slowly tilt your head from side to side. Turning your head to the middle, lengthen the back of the neck, gentle draw of the chin towards the chest. Let's rest one palm on the abdomen, one hand on the chest. And then you can keep your knees bent, feet flat on the floor, or you can touch the soles of your feet together, let your knees open wide to the sides. You're welcome to adjust the distance between your pelvis and your heels to suit your knees and your hips. The tailbone grow heavy. Soften your gaze or close your eyes. Each time you inhale, let the body expand into the palms. As you exhale, soften and sink into the floor. Your knees are wide to the sides. Reach your palms down to the outsides of the legs. As you inhale, carefully guide your knees back to the center. With your knees bent, place your feet hip-width apart, and then interlace your fingers. Take your hands behind your head and tuck your elbows in beside your ears. So let's take a deep breath in. And then engage the core. As you exhale, curl your forehead up towards your knees, tuck your chin in towards your chest, and gently stretch the back of your neck, keeping your shoulders relaxed. As you exhale, slowly lower your head back to the mat. Releasing your hands from behind your head, you can draw your knees in towards you. And then rock slowly side to side, or maybe make some circles with your knees. Make sure if you're circling that you move in both directions. And from here, you can either roll to one side and press up, or rock yourself up to sitting. And then you're welcome to sit up on the edge of a folded up blanket, or a cushion, or a block if you have one. You can come to sit maybe with one foot in front of the other, or perhaps with your legs stretched forward in front of you. I want you to just make your body as comfy as you can. Make sure your knees and your hips feel good. And then start to reach the crown of your head up towards the ceiling, resting your palms onto your thighs. Close your eyes or soften your gaze and take a moment to be still here and just feel the movement of your breathing. Let's reach your fingertips down to the floor on either side of the body. Keep a little bend in your elbows. Gently draw the shoulder blades in towards one another and down as you lift the crown of the head up. Take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, tilt your right ear towards your right shoulder, keeping your shoulders level, so just your head moves. And you can stay here. If you want to deepen this, let's start to walk our left fingertips out to the left, extending through that left arm. And if you still want a little more, you can take your right hand and gently rest it onto your head. We're not pulling on the head, we're just adding a little bit of extra weight. That right hand is raised. Let's slowly lower it down. And then take an inhale, bring your head back to the center. Give your shoulders a big roll. Touching your hands down on either side of the body. Crown of the head lifts up. Nice deep breath in. As you breathe out, left ear tilts towards the left shoulder. Maybe those right fingertips walk out to the right. If you still want a little bit more, your left hand can carefully rest onto your head. Just make sure you're not creating any straining in your neck muscles. Just a gentle sense of a stretch. And slowly lowering your left arm if it's raised. We'll inhale the head to the middle, shrugging the shoulders right up to the ears. Big roll back and down. And then you can stretch your legs forward in front of you. Give them a shake. And let's draw the soles of the feet to touch, letting the knees fall out to the side. And you can decide whether you want to tuck your heels in really close to the pelvis and focus your stretch more on your inner thighs into the groin. Or if you want to push your heels out in front of you so you have a long diamond shape, and you'll open up a little more through your low back and outer hips. So you choose. And then rest your hands onto your legs. Lift up through your sternum. Fill up your lungs. With your core engaged to support your lower back, use your exhale, hinging from your hips, let your torso come forward. And you're welcome to keep your spine straight tonight if that feels best for your body. You could also allow yourself to round forward, opening up a little more through your back muscles, letting the head get heavy, arms relax. So you go where it feels best for you. Noticing what sensations you feel in your body. Think of each inhale expanding into wherever you feel tension. And each exhale helping that tension to release. Keeping your chin tucked in towards your chest, engage your abdominal muscles. Use your inhale to slowly stack your spine, rolling yourself all the way back up. And once your head lifts up, I want you to give your shoulders some nice big circles back and down. You're welcome to stretch your legs out in front of you, give them a little rock side to side, a little shake. Roll your ankles, wiggle your toes, let your joints move. And then if you're sitting on any height, move that off to the side. And let's come onto our hands and our knees. We'll align our wrists underneath our shoulders, knees underneath the hips. And then spreading wide through the fingers, connecting through the palms, sinking down to the knuckles of the hands and the fingertips. If it feels good, let's tuck through the toes. Pausing here in a neutral spine, take a moment, notice the sound of your breath. Allow your breath to deepen. And next time you exhale, let's push the floor away from us with our hands as we round the spine, lifting the back towards the ceiling, draw chin towards chest. Use your inhale, lift your tailbone, lift your chest, lift your gaze. Exhale and round the back. Following your breath through this movement. Starting to bring more mobility into the spine. Notice when you start to move on autopilot and bring your attention back to your breath and the movement of your body. Next time you breathe out, we'll keep the spine rounded. Resting the tops of your feet on the floor. Draw your big toes to touch. And then your knees can stay narrow or they can go wider than your hips, and we'll slowly take the tailbone towards the heels and come into child's pose. If it feels okay for your shoulders, let's keep our hands stretched forward in front of us. Let your tailbone sink towards your heels as the forehead rests heavily into the floor, or maybe onto a folded blanket or a cushion. And you can think of your breath moving into the sides of your torso here. And with an inhale, let's walk our palms over to the right. If your neck needs support, you could take your right arm under your forehead. Keep reaching your sit bones back towards your heels, pressing down into your left palm. Big inhale, we'll walk through the center over to the left side. You're welcome to take your left arm underneath your forehead. Keep your right arm extended, pressing your right palm down into the earth. As you breathe in, come back to the center. Placing your palms shoulder width apart, look up to the top of your mat. Use your next inhale, draw your chin and chest between your palms and come onto your stomach. Stretching your legs back behind you, rest the tops of your feet on the floor, big toes touching. Let your heels fall out to the side. And then engaging your abdominal muscles as you inhale, lift your chest slightly. Let's take our forearms in front of us for Sphinx pose. So you can have your palms and your elbows shoulder width apart. If your lower back feels like this is too much, I want you to keep that shoulder width distance, but take your elbows further forward away from your hip bones. If you want a deeper back bend, we tuck the elbows in closer towards the hip bones. And then drawing navel towards the spine, we'll inhale. Chest reaches forward and up. Shoulder blades slide down the back, so collarbones are broad. And you can gaze down at the floor or lift your gaze towards the sky. Soften your lower jaw so you can relax through your legs a little bit. And then keep that big breath so abdomen extends towards the mat as you inhale. With your core engaged, let's take one more big breath in, sternum lifts up. As you exhale, slide your elbows to the sides, let your chest and your head lower. You're welcome to rest your forehead down onto a cushion or down to the floor. Rock your hips from side to side. It might feel nice to roll your forehead side to side. And then we'll take our palms underneath our shoulders. Draw your navel towards your spine. Use your inhale. Press yourself up to your hands and your knees. Let's take our wrists slightly ahead of our shoulders. Spread your fingers as wide as you can, and then bring your knees underneath your hips and tuck your toes. Contracting through your core as you inhale, lift your tailbone up towards the ceiling. As you exhale, let your heels get heavy as your chest sinks towards your thighs. Maintain the depth of your breath here. Feel free to walk your heels up and down slowly, or maybe nod your head yes and no. Starting to open up through the backs of the legs. From here, contract your abdominal muscles. As you inhale, step your right foot forward, helping it forward till your right knee is over your ankle. As you exhale, lower your left knee down. Feel free to add extra cushioning underneath that knee joint. Squaring your hips towards the top of your mat. You can stay low here, fingertips to the mat or hands on books or cushions, or you can place your hands to your front thigh, lift up through your chest. Okay, let your tailbone get heavy here. Lengthen your low back as you draw navel in. Feel free to stay here or breathe in, slowly extend the fingertips up towards the ceiling. You can imagine that you're drawing your front heel towards your back knee as you lift up through your chest. Use your exhale, let your hips sink forward a little bit. And letting your gaze rest on one spot, whether that's down at the floor or up towards the ceiling. Let's take one more inhale, lift up through your chest. Your core engaged, exhale, lowering your hands down. Feel free to add some height underneath your hands, grab cushions or thick books. We're going to wiggle our right toes a little further forward and then slowly shift the pelvis back. So if the back of your thigh feels really tight, you can keep the ball of your foot down on the ground, a deep bend in your knee. You want to deeper stretch, point your toes up towards the ceiling and really draw that right hip back, left hip forward. Okay, let's take an inhale, reach the chest forward, crown of the head forward, lengthen your spine. And then as you exhale, slowly fold over your right leg. Make sure there's a tiny little micro bend in that knee, if not a deeper bend. We don't want to lock that knee joint. And as you inhale, shift yourself forward, taking your right knee over your ankle. Spread your fingers wide, planting your palms on the floor. Tuck your back toes under, engage your core. Let's inhale, lift the left knee, lift the hips, and step back to downward dog. Taking your feet hip width apart. Sink down into the knuckles of the hands as you lift up through the hips. And then slow down your breath. Engaging your core. Next inhale, step your left foot forward till your left knee is over your ankle. As you breathe out, touch your right knee down. You're welcome to add extra cushioning there. You will square the hips to the top of the mat. You're welcome to take extra height under your hands or place your palms to your front thigh and lift up through your chest. We're going to try and invite our ribs back over our hips as we lift up through the crown of the head. And you can hold here or inhale, reach the arms up. Think of your front heel drawing towards your back knee. So you're supporting through your pelvis and then lift up through your sternum. If you want to challenge your balance even more here, you can try closing your eyes. And take one more deep inhale. As you exhale, lower your hands down. You can add height under your hands or fingertips to the floor. Let's wiggle our left toes further forward and then slowly shift the hips back. You have the option of keeping the ball of the foot down, or you can deepen this by pointing your toes up towards the sky. You draw your left hip back, right hip forward. Take an inhale, stretch forward through the chest and the crown of the head. And then as you exhale, slowly fold. And you can have as much of a bend in your knee as you need for this to feel like a stretch without creating any straining in your body. Next time you inhale, shift forward. Take your left knee over your ankle. Clench your palms on the floor. Fingers spread wide, back toes tucked. Engage your core. We'll inhale. Hips lift up. Left knee lifts up when we step back to our down dog. Lifting up through the hips as the chest gets heavy. From here, engage your abdominal muscles. Take an inhale, lift your heels up high. Shift more weight into your hands. And as you exhale, touch your knees down to the mat, rest the tops of the feet on the floor, and stretch back into child's pose. You're welcome to invite your hands back beside your feet or add some support underneath your forehead. Each time you inhale, think of expanding through your lower back and the sides of your torso. And then as you exhale, let the weight of your body sink into the floor. Your palms stretching forward in front of you, hands shoulder width apart, looking up to the top of your mat. Next time you inhale, come onto your abdomen. Resting the tops of the feet on the floor, big toes touching. We'll take our hands under our shoulders, touch the forehead down to lengthen the neck, and hug your elbows into the sides of your ribcage. Reach your tailbone back towards your heels, tops of the feet heavy. Draw your navel to your spine as you inhale. Take your head and chest forward and up, only as high as feels safe for your low back. Draw the elbows down away from the ears, hug the elbows, the shoulders down, hug the elbows in. Let's take one more inhale, lifting through the sternum. And then as you exhale, lower your chest and lower your head. Pressing down through your palms, use your inhale to come up to your hands and your knees. And then tuck your toes and return to your down dog, lifting your tailbone up as high as you can. From down dog, take an inhale, walking your feet up towards your palms. You bend your knees as much as you need to. Come to a forward fold at the top of your mat with your feet hip width apart. Spreading out through your toes, maybe deepening the bend in your knees if that feels better for your lower spine. Soften your neck as much as you can. Your arms can dangle here, or if it feels good, you could hold onto your elbows. Now releasing your hands down towards the floor, keep your chin tucked in towards your chest. Contract your abdominal muscles, inhale, and slowly roll yourself up to standing. You can always walk your hands up your legs to support you. Lifting your head up last. Give your shoulders a big roll back and down. And then relax your arms alongside your body as you stretch up through the crown of your head. And balancing your weight evenly between each of your feet. Keep a little micro bend in your knees. And then let's cross our right arm over our left arm and either wrap the palms around to the upper back so shoulder blades spread apart, or invite the backs of the hands or the palms together and then lift up through the elbows. As the elbows reach forward and up, think of your shoulder blades drawing down. And let's keep the back of the neck nice and long. With an exhale, release the arms. Big roll of the shoulders back. Making sure your weight's still balanced evenly between your feet, softness in your knees. Let's take left arm over right arm. Palms can wrap around or your arms can intertwine. Elbows reach forward and up as the shoulder blades drag down the back. Notice how your breath feels here. And as you breathe out, let your arms release. Big roll of your shoulders. And then let's heel toe our feet till they're wider than the hips, keeping your feet parallel. Take a generous bend in your knees and then bring your hands behind you and interlace your fingers at your lower back. Elbows stay bent. Let's inhale, lift up through the chest. And then contract through your core as you exhale, hinge from your hips, holding forward with that big bend in your knees. Think of resting your abdomen onto your thighs or in between your thighs. Let your head relax forward. Your hands can stay resting on your lower back, or you can start to extend your arms. Let's take some nice big breaths here as we open up through the low back, as well as the chest and the shoulders. And depending on how your lower back feels today, you can keep this deep bend, or you can start to slowly extend your legs a little more, but just make sure that doesn't create any discomfort in your body. As you exhale, release your hands to your low back if your arms are extended. And slowly relax your hands all the way down towards the floor, letting the arms and the head hang. Pressing down through the feet. Let's walk our feet until they're hip width apart and parallel again. And then drawing your navel towards your spine, use your inhale to step one vertebra on top of the other, coming all the way up to standing. And once you're standing tall, circle your shoulders back. And taking a moment here again to just balance your weight evenly between your feet as you steady your breath. And then finding one place to focus your gaze on, whether it's on the floor or the wall in front of you. Contract through your core. Let's inhale our weight onto our right foot and invite the left foot to the inside of the ankle with the toes on the ground, or the inside of your calf, or up to the inside of your thigh. Making sure that foot's not resting on your knee. Let's stretch the crown of the head up towards the ceiling. You could invite your hands together in front of your chest. Or you can inhale and let your arms extend. Take your hands a little wider than your shoulders so your shoulders can relax away from your ears. And then see how steady your breath can be here. Let's take the hands together as you exhale. Slowly draw your palms all the way down. And then release your foot down, relax your arms, and have a little shake, letting go of tension. And coming back into mountain pose, feeling your feet on the mat. Find your focal point. And then engage your core. Use your inhale to shift your weight onto your left foot. Right foot can come to the ankle or the calf or up to the thigh. You keep stretching the crown of the head up. You can invite the palms together at the chest, or take an inhale and reach the arms up overhead. And your breath is your priority, so keep it deep and even. Relax your facial muscles. Bringing the palms together, we'll exhale the hands down to the chest. And then return the foot to the floor, loosening up any tension in the body. Coming back to mountain pose at the top of your mat, feet hip width apart. Find a little bend in your knees as you inhale, lift up through your chest. And then contract through your core as you exhale, take your chin towards your chest and slowly roll yourself all the way down. Hands can walk down your legs if you need a little more support here. You can always deepen the bend in your knees. Softening your neck as much as you can. Let the crown of your head hang heavily towards the floor as you tip your tailbone up towards the ceiling. You can hold your elbows or the backs of the calves here for a few breaths. And releasing your fingertips towards the floor, you can come straight down to sitting if that's best for your body, or walk your feet wider than your hips, turn your heels in, toes out, and carefully come down into a squat. And you can always add support into your heels if they're lifted, or keep your hands down on the floor. If it feels good, palms can come together, maybe using your elbows to gently guide the knees out towards the pinky toes as you breathe into your lower back. You can come out of this anytime you need to. And with the help of your palms, let's come all the way down. And stretching your legs forward, give them a little shake. And then you can sit up on a bit of height, whether it's a folded blanket or a cushion or a block. Sitting right on the edge to help untuck your tailbone. Let's take our feet wide apart and point our toes up towards the ceiling. So we're flexed at the ankles. Okay, I want you to engage a little through the tops of your thighs. Touch your fingertips down in front of you as you inhale, lift up through your chest. And then as you exhale, think of hinging from your hips, tailbone untucking, hip bones tipping forward as you take your torso forward. Let your arms relax. Let your neck relax. And then focus on your breath, making more space where you feel tension in your body. And use your exhale to soften and sink towards the ground. Use your hands to support you. Gently engage your core as you inhale. Let's make our way back up. Lifting the head up, take the shoulders back. And then you can take your hands behind the thighs, help your legs come back to the center. If you're sitting on some height, I want you to move it off to the side and then lean back into your hands. Palms can be shoulder width or slightly wider, fingers pointing away. Let's bend the knees, take the feet as wide or wider than the mat, and just let your knees go side to side in little windshield wipers. And from here, I want you to grab any sweaters or socks or blankets that you need, and we're going to come right back to where we started, laying on our back. So grabbing your warm things. And then you can make your way down onto your mat. And stretching out on your back. With your feet as wide or wider than your mat. Maybe some support behind your knees if you want to grab some cushions or roll that blanket. Feel that slight bend in your knees to help relax your low back and your hips. And then your arms can go wide, palms facing the sky. Or you can rest your hands on your belly. And if there's any lingering tension in your neck, it might feel nice to really slowly tilt your head side to side a few times. And when your head comes back to the center, gentle draw the chin towards the chest. The back of the skull sink heavily into the mat. And then close your eyes or soften your gaze. Scanning your attention through your body. Noticing whatever sensations are coming and going. Feeling the subtle sensation of your natural breath moving in and out. Each time you exhale, invite your body to relax more and more. Enjoy this time to rest. Gently invite your attention back into your body. Start to wiggle your fingers and your toes. You can roll your wrists and your ankles. Reach your arms up over your head. Take a big full body stretch. And hug your knees into your chest and rock side to side. And rolling yourself over to one side. And carefully press yourself up, coming to a comfortable seated position. And once you're comfy in your seat, I invite you to place the palms together in front of the chest. And close your eyes or soften your gaze. Take one more deep, conscious inhale and a long, slow exhale. Namaste.